Did you know that Adam and Eve had more than just Cain, Abel, and Seth? The story of their daughters has been shrouded in the shadows of history, until ancient texts like the Book of Jubilees revealed the truth. These mysteries not only challenge traditional understandings, but also open a gateway to a world full of secrets and wonders. Who were these figures, and why are their stories so significant? Let's uncover the forgotten mysteries of the era of creation. In this video, I will take you on a unique journey of discovery, unveiling untold secrets about the daughters of Adam and Eve. From the records in the Book of Jubilees, the Bible, to ancient traditions, I will shed light on their roles, fates, and significance in humanity's origin story. These figures are not merely descendants, they may hold the key to a deeper understanding of the ancient world and the spiritual beliefs of early humanity. If you want to uncover hidden secrets and little-known stories, hit like and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to follow for more mysterious and captivating insights into the creation era you've never heard before. A topic full of mystery yet rarely mentioned in the Bible and theological studies is the story of Adam and Eve's daughters. While most attention is given to famous sons like Cain, Abel, and Seth, the Bible in Genesis 5:4-5 reveals that Adam and Eve had many sons and daughters. Specifically, after the birth of Seth, Adam lived another 800 years and had other children before dying at the age of 930. However, the Bible does not mention the names of these daughters. Interestingly, non-biblical texts like the Book of Jubilees provide valuable additional information about them. This text is part of the New Testament Apocrypha, often referred to as Little Genesis, due to its close connection with the stories in Genesis. This text not only recounts the creation and life of Adam and Eve, but also reveals the names and roles of lesser-known figures, including their daughters. Widely circulated in ancient Jewish culture, the Book of Jubilees is regarded as a highly valuable historical text. The oldest manuscript we have dates back to around 700 BCE, though it is merely a copy of an even older work. Some scholars suggest that the writer Ezra may have compiled this text, but according to its own content, the Book of Jubilees claims that its true author is Moses, who received a vision from an angel on Mount Horeb. The story of Moses on Mount Horeb for 40 days and nights without food or drink, as recorded in the Bible, further strengthens the credibility of this hypothesis. Notably, the Book of Jubilees also mentions a connection with another apocryphal text, the Book of Enoch, which was familiar to early Christians and regarded as an important part of their Bible. The interplay between these texts not only supplements but also enriches the narratives of the Old Testament, offering new perspectives on the roles of forgotten figures in human history. Returning to the main topic, according to ancient Abrahamic Semitic traditions, the story of Adam and Eve's daughters reveals significant but often overlooked figures. Among them, Avan, considered the first daughter of Adam and Eve, stands out with a highly controversial role. A climber, also known as Kalmena, Lucia, Canaan, Luluwa, or Awan, according to certain religious traditions, was the eldest daughter of Adam and Eve and the sister, in many sources the twin sister of Cain. This would make her the first woman to be naturally born. In Phoenician Hebrew, the name Avan means strength or sin. She was both the sister and the wife of Cain, the eldest son of Adam and Eve, who was exiled after killing Abel. Genesis 4:17 states that after killing Abel, Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. To explain where Cain and Abel found their wives, some traditional sources suggest that each child of Adam and Eve was born with a twin sibling who became their spouse. In the Book of Jubilees, Avan is described as the mother of Enoch, Cain's firstborn son, for whom Cain built a city in his honor. The city of Enoch, mentioned in the Bible, symbolizes Cain's efforts to rebuild after his family's tragedy. According to Islamic tradition, Cain was born with a twin sister named Aklima, and Abel with a twin sister named Azura. Adam wanted Cain to marry Abel's twin sister and Abel to marry Cain's twin sister. Cain disagreed with this arrangement, and Adam proposed taking the matter to God through sacrifices. God rejected Cain's offering as a sign of disapproval of his marriage to Aklima, his twin sister, and Cain killed his brother in a fit of jealousy. In another Islamic tradition, Cain's twin sister was named Lucia, while a climber was Abel's twin sister. However, in some texts like the Cave of Treasures, Avan is referred to by another name, Kalima. According to this tradition, Kalima is identified as Cain's wife and retains the position of Adam and Eve's firstborn daughter. This change in naming reflects the diversity and richness of ancient Semitic traditions. Adam and Eve's second daughter was named Azura, who played an equally significant role in human history. Azura was married to Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve, born after Abel's death. The name Seth originates from Hebrew, meaning compensation or replacement, signifying that he was God's gift to compensate for the loss of Abel. Seth is revered in the Bible as a righteous ancestor, from whose lineage humanity continued to worship God. According to the genealogy, Seth's line leads to Noah, who plays a pivotal role in the story of the Great Flood, a defining event in biblical history. The union between Seth and Azura represents not only the beginning of a new lineage, but also a bridge between the initial creation and the significant events that followed in the Judeo-Christian tradition. Their roles underscore the importance of a righteous lineage in maintaining a connection with God and preserving humanity through the trials of biblical history. The Book of Jubilees provides a unique detail about Azura, a seldom-mentioned figure who played a crucial role in the lineage of Adam and Eve. According to this text, she was also the twin sister of Abel, and initially, Azura was Abel's wife. After Abel was murdered by Cain, Azura became a widow. When Seth came of age, he married Azura, marking the beginning of a righteous lineage from Adam. This is one of the rare details shedding light on the role of Adam and Eve's daughters in preserving humanity's bloodline. According to the Book of Jubilees, Azura was born in the 6th week of the 4th Jubilee and married Seth in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee. Their union produced a son, Enos, in the 4th year of the 6th week. Upon reaching adulthood, Enos married his sister, Nome, the daughter of Seth and Azura. This continued the tradition of sibling marriages within Adam's lineage to sustain humanity's survival in the early days. Enos, the son of Seth and Azura, is a prominent figure mentioned in Genesis 5:6-11. His genealogy shows that he lived to be 905 years old, fathering sons and daughters, thus continuing Seth's lineage. Notably, Enos is described as the initiator of prayer and worship of God. Genesis 4:26 emphasizes that during Enos's time, people began to call upon the name of the Lord. This was a significant turning point, marking the emergence of religious devotion within Seth's lineage. Enos's role extended beyond continuing the genealogy. He also ushered in a spiritual transformation, as the worship of God became central to the lives of Adam's descendants. This highlights the importance of Enos in laying the foundation for a religious tradition, paving the way for major biblical figures such as Noah and his descendants. Information from the Book of Jubilees and the Bible complements each other, creating a more comprehensive picture of humanity's origins. The Bible in Genesis 5 states that Adam lived more than 800 years after Seth's birth, during which he had many sons and daughters. This suggests that Adam and Eve were far more prolific than anyone else in history. Ancient traditions even estimate that they had hundreds of descendants. This not only reflects the extraordinary fertility of Eve, the first woman, but also suggests that the early human context was highly conducive to population growth. In comparison to modern times, the Guinness World Record for the most children born to one woman belongs to Valentina Vasiliev, who lived in the 18th century and had 69 children from 27 pregnancies. However, with Adam and Eve's lifespan extending to 930 years, their fertility far surpassed any modern record. Modern research, such as mitochondrial DNA studies, commonly referred to as mitochondrial Eve, supports the idea that all humanity shares a common female ancestor, aligning with the belief that Adam and Eve were the origins of humankind. An intriguing aspect of ancient texts is the ethnic and racial diversity originating from Adam and Eve. According to traditions, Adam and Eve had mixed origins, and their descendants continued to reflect this diversity across generations. This not only reinforces the idea that all humanity originates from a common source, but also emphasizes that today's cultural and ethnic richness is a legacy from our earliest ancestors. These stories, whether recorded in ancient texts or analyzed through a modern lens, remind us of the common bond humanity shares while illuminating the yet unexplored mysteries of Adam and Eve's sons and daughters. Looking back at humanity's origins in the context of the fall on Earth, we confront an unavoidable reality. Humanity began its history with relationships between siblings, something that is considered incestuous today. However, to fully understand this, we must analyze it through the lenses of the era, genetic science, and theological beliefs. In the modern world, the prohibition of incest is built on practical and ethical grounds, having existed for centuries in most cultures. One of the primary reasons for this prohibition is the risk of genetic disorders. When both parents share the same genetic makeup, especially in cases where they are siblings, the likelihood of harmful mutations in their offspring increases significantly. This not only raises the risk of congenital diseases, but can also lead to more severe health conditions compared to previous generations. However, in the case of Cain and his wife, the context is entirely different. Cain and his wife, recorded as the children of Adam and Eve, belonged to the first generation after humanity's creation. According to theology, Adam and Eve were created by God's perfect hand, free of genetic disorders, and thus their children did not face the genetic risks we encounter in the modern age. Marriage between Cain and his sister was inevitable in a primordial world where there were no outsiders to marry. At that time, such a marital relationship did not pose genetic risks or ethical conflicts as we perceive today. As humanity developed over generations, the increase in descendants led to genetic diversification. During the patriarchal era, as family lines expanded, the number of cousin relationships also grew. This was when the prohibition of incest became necessary, not only to safeguard genetic health but also to establish ethical and social foundations for increasingly complex communities. This perspective is supported by both modern genetic theory and religious rules that have shaped human morality over millennia. Today, the subject of incest remains strongly opposed in most societies. This is not only based on genetic grounds, but also relates to cultural perceptions and collective psychology, as incest is seen as a violation of the natural moral order. But to gain a deeper understanding, we must place the story of Cain and his wife in its unique historical context, where humanity's survival depended on maintaining the lineage through sibling relationships in the first generation. Delving deeper into this issue, the Bible not only addresses incest, but also establishes a clear moral framework to prevent such relationships within the community of believers. In Genesis 2:24, the Bible presents the foundational principle of marriage. A man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. This implies that a young man must leave his family to seek a spouse from another family, avoiding marital ties within the same lineage. This is not merely social guidance, but also reflects God's divine intent to foster diversity and harmony within the human community. At the same time, the Bible explicitly prohibits incest. In Leviticus 18:9, God commands, "You shall not uncover the nakedness of your sister, the daughter of your father, or the daughter of your mother, whether born at home or elsewhere." This serves as a stern reminder that blood relations in marriage are not only a societal violation, but also an act against the Creator's will. The Bible not only prohibits but also recounts the painful consequences of incest, as illustrated in the story from 2 Samuel 13. Amnon, King David's eldest son, raped his half-sister Tamar. This act not only caused severe harm to Tamar but also led to a series of tragedies. Tamar's brother Absalom avenged her by killing Amnon, creating deep divisions within the family, and eventually leading to Absalom's downfall. These stories demonstrate that incest not only disrupts family order, but also brings serious consequences to society. Some attribute the aversion to incest to genetic risks, as blood relations increase the likelihood of genetic disorders in offspring. However, from a theological perspective, incest is not only seen as a biological risk, but also as a disruption of the divine order established by God. As the saying goes, whatever makes God shudder should also make us shudder. Incest is not merely a legal violation, but a breakdown of spirit and morality. Deep within, the human soul recognizes when something contradicts divine will. Therefore, adhering to biblical laws is not merely an act of obedience, but a way to maintain harmony with the Creator's divine plan, safeguarding humanity from chaos and suffering. What are your thoughts on these stories? Feel free to leave your comments or suggest other topics you'd like me to explore in the future.